Hello. Hi, welcome. How are you? So good to see you tonight for another installment of The Best Investment. Come on in, come on in. I hope you had a wonderful day. Today it is Thursday, almost the weekend, almost Friday, almost the end of the work week, and I know you're just as excited as I am. So come on in, let us talk. Let us hear what's needed to be shared tonight. I'm so excited about this topic tonight, specifically as we go right into this new season. We're in the second half of the year, so we are almost there to the end of the year, and I can't even believe we're almost there. But if you are joining for the first time, welcome. If you're joining on the replay, welcome to you too. My name is Mona-Lee Belizaire. For those who do not know me, if this is your first time, my name is Mona-Lee Belizaire. I do the best investment every Thursday at 7 p.m. and I'm so glad to have you here. I am a personal growth strategist, so I help specifically young adult women move from where they are to where they want to be. I'm also the creator of the I Am Choosing Me movement, and it is a movement designed to encourage women to choose themselves in every area of their lives. If you are joining me for the first time, once again, welcome. If you're a returning visitor, thank you so much for sticking with me and for joining me each and every Thursday. So today, as I had mentioned, we're talking about vision. The topic today is vision. And so when we think about the word vision, what comes to mind obviously is sight, right? Because when you have vision, you can see. When you think about vision, you may think about someone who had a vision, or they're in a trance, or they experience some type of some type of thing where they are like, they're blanked out, but they're seeing something that they have never seen before. And so obviously when we think about vision, we always think about sight. So we're going to just want to lay that foundation here. One of my favorite scriptures that we're going to sort of deal with tonight is Proverbs 29 verse 18. And so Proverbs 29 verse 18, all of us know this verse by now. And it says, without a vision, the people perish. But in the Message version, it says, without a vision, the people stumble all over themselves. Or it says, if the people can't see what God is doing, they stumble all over themselves. And so that, I wanted to lay the foundation with that, because I think it's important for us to know why vision is important. When you think about vision, when you think about sight, if you don't have sight, like if you're in the dark or you can't see, what happens? You stumble all over yourself. You don't know where you're going. You're like figuring it out, right? So it's important. Vision is important not only in the physical, but it's also important in the spiritual. And it's also important as we're figuring out specifically how we want to navigate and move forward in our lives. So I want to talk about vision from a different perspective tonight. So tonight I want to specifically talk about vision from areas where there is a lack of vision. So for me, I am someone that has worn glasses all my life. So this really resonated with me, and I was like, okay, this is cool. We can let's start with this. And so when I was doing my research, I realized that there are three types of vision errors, or there are three types of ways that, three main ways, I would say, because there are multiple ways that folks can have deficits in their vision. And so for those who have vision problems, they typically fall into three categories. So you have those who are nearsighted, so they can see up close, but they can't see distant objects. You have those who are farsighted, so they can see far away, but they can't see up close. And then you have people like me, who I always say, now I'm not legally blind, but I've been wearing glasses my whole life. You have people like me who have astigmatism. And so essentially what that means is that our vision is sort of blurred at any distance. And if anybody who knows me, like if I'm reading, or if I don't have my glasses on, like the thing has to be up here to me. That's typically how it works for me. And typically those people who also have astigmatism, they also either are nearsighted and farsighted at the same time. So people with astigmatism, rough, like rough for us. But I wanted to tackle this from that sense because I think it's something that most of us can relate to. So for those people who are nearsighted, they can't see, they can only see things up close. I relate that to mostly some things that we are experiencing in our lives where we are able to see, we pay more attention to probably our circumstances. We pay more attention to what we can see in front of our faces. We pay more attention to probably the things that are factual. We pay more attention to certain things. But when it comes to our vision, when it comes to seeing further out, when it comes to thinking, man, this is possible for me, or thinking larger or broadly, our vision, we have problems there, and it's very limited for us to really see further out because we're blinded essentially by the things that are in front of our face. We're blinded by the things that, like I mentioned, the things that we can see. We're blinded by the facts. We can be blinded by our circumstances, and then that limits our vision, and it limits our opportunity for us to even think further out. If you just joined me, welcome. If something resonates with you, please drop it in the comments, and I would love to hear your feedback on this material as well. And so for those that are farsighted, like there are plenty of us who are like big dreamers, big vision, like we dream big, like we vision big, we can think further out, but it gets a little bit dicey, and we're limited in how we see things, how we really walk out that vision. And so, while we are able to think further, we're able to dream big, we're limited in the steps that we take to get to those big things. So we're limited in the small goals, the small steps that we take, the small objectives. We're limited in how we actually walk out those things. So we may even know the things that we need to do to get to those big things, but then we have problems really walking it out. We don't know what the next steps are. And so we become limited in that. So I'm sure you probably know of folks who them dream big. Every time you probably hear someone say, I'm going to do this, and next year I'll be here. And then come next year, or they do something, they're still in the same place. And sometimes, so it's very important for us to make sure that we understand where we fall into these categories. And then when you think about someone as it relates to astigmatism, when you think about someone like that, they probably have, they're limited in both. So there's, you may know some people, or the particular person is just like, they're just there. They don't have any they're not thinking further. They're not trying to figure out what are some of the next steps. They're just there. Right? And so how do we as individuals ensure that we are really looking at how we move forward in our vision, right? What is the vision that we have for our lives? What is the vision that God has for our lives? So I want to share with you 3 things that I think are important for us to, as we're moving forward, as we're thinking about what do we want our vision, our vision, right? What do we want the vision to look for us for our lives? So the first thing that we need to do is we need to acknowledge that our vision needs correcting. So so for me, when I first knew that I needed glasses, I was young, right? But when I first knew that I needed glasses, my parents had to take me to make sure that my vision was corrected. Right? So we need to acknowledge that our vision is skewed, and our vision needs correcting. Hey, Georgia. We need to acknowledge that our vision is skewed and our vision needs corrected. So that's the first thing that we need to do in order to sort of get our vision back on track. We need to acknowledge, right, that our vision needs correcting, because that's the first step in correcting our vision problems, right? So that's both in the physical, and then also if we don't have a vision for our lives, because we want to make sure that we understand what do we need. We understand that we want better for us, especially for those of us who want better for ourselves. We have to understand and acknowledge, hey, our vision needs correcting because things might be a little bit skewed. We also have to get a checkup, right? So just like how every year, if you wear glasses, or whether or not, even if you don't wear glasses, every year you should get an eye exam, because there's some things that you can't see, and things maybe, even if you can see well, you don't need glasses, there are other things that may be going on behind your eye where you need to get checked, right? So it's the same thing as we're moving through life. We have to check up on ourselves. We have to figure out, okay, where am I in my vision? Am I where I'm supposed to be? Am I where God is calling me to be? Who is a part of We need to check up in our lives. We can also share these things with our family and friends as well, and ask them to check up on us, to see what's going on in our lives specifically. And so, like I said before, like every year you have to go get a vision check. For your eyes, we need to check up on where we are in our vision, and if we are where we say we want to be, or if we are where we are supposed to be. And then thirdly, we have to put on the things that help us to correct our vision, right? So just like how every day I have to put on my glasses because it helps me to see better, it doesn't necessarily make everything perfect, right? But it helps me to see things better. It's the same thing we have to do. We have to put on the things that are going to help us to see better so we know exactly where we're going. One of those things is make sure that we're spending time with God. We're spending time with God, and we're spending time in His Word. When we spend time with God and we spend time in His Word, He's able to reveal things to us, right? Jeremiah 33 verse 3 says, "Call on me and I'll answer you, and I'll show you things, unsearchable things, things that you don't even know." And so what a promise. What is that? Something, who wouldn't want that, right? For our Maker to share with us specifically things that He wants to reveal to us as people, as His children. So we have to make sure that we position ourselves so that we're hearing from God. Even that latter part of Proverbs 9 verse 18, that says where where there is no vision, the people perish. In the Message version, the latter part specifically says, "But when they attend to what He reveals, they are most blessed," right? So when we attend, when we know and we follow through with what God reveals to us, we are most blessed. And then second, in terms of how do we continuously put on things, is that we have to be aware of our surroundings. We have to be aware of who we're surrounding ourselves with. Iron truly sharpens iron. I hear people say all the time, you are a reflection of your top 5 people in your life. So who are you surrounding yourself with? Who are you putting on? Right? And how are these people helping you to move forward in your vision, helping you to sharpen your vision? So that's something we have to really think about. Who are we surrounding ourselves with? And third, we have to be mindful of how we're using our time and how we are using our resources. Okay, you may say, okay, Mona, what exactly does that have to do with vision? If you're spending time doing other things that you don't have no business doing, you're not focusing on what you're supposed to be focusing on. That's just it. If you're spending your time, you're spending your resources on things that are not important, how are you moving towards your vision? How are you sharpening your vision? How are you making sure that you're putting on, that whatever you're putting on, whatever time you're putting on, essentially, whatever time you're spending, wherever you're going, whatever you're doing, how are you making sure that's sharpening your vision and moving you further towards it? So those 3 things I think are really important. So we have to make sure that be careful of what we're continuously putting on, right, to sharpen our vision. So we have to make sure that we're spending time with God, spending time in His Word. Secondly, we have to make sure that we are aware of our surroundings and who is around us, right? Who we're putting on, who we're carrying with us. And third, we have to be mindful of how we're using our resources and using our time. So I hope that this was really, really good for you in terms of understanding how, from a limited standpoint, when we have a limited vision. So I started out by talking about the 3 types of problems that most people have with their vision. So most people are nearsighted, they're farsighted, or they have astigmatism, which is when essentially you have you're not able to see at any distances. And most times those people also are either nearsighted and farsighted, and how related to how, in our own lives, we are nearsighted with our vision. So we only see what's up close. We only see what's factual. We only see our circumstances. We can't see beyond that. For those who are farsighted in their vision, they typically are like big dreamers. They are like go-getters. But when it comes to moving forward, doing the small things and the small steps to get there, they get stuck. And then there are people who have astigmatism in their vision, right? These are the folks who, they don't know where they're going. They're just walking aimlessly. And on top of that, they have another something else that's limiting their vision. And so I really want you all to really think about, take some time this week, take some time even today, and think about what is the vision that I have for my life? Where it is that I want to go? What does God want for me? The Bible is filled with God's promises and God's plans for our lives, but He has something specific for you. He has something specific for me. He has something specific for everybody. We're all called to do something specific, but we're also called to do things that are aligned with our passion, aligned with our hobbies, and aligned with the things that make us happy. So really take some time to think about it today. What is my vision? Where do I want to go? And then make sure that you are putting on these things as well. Make sure that you are applying the 3 things that I talked about earlier. You can go ahead and watch the replay so that you can make sure that you hear what I said if you joined late. But just want to make sure that you think through those things, sit with it, take some time to deal with it. I also have a freebie on my site, Mona-Lee Belizaire.com. It's how to create a vision statement for your life that I think would be really, really, really good for you as you're trying to figure out what is my next step. It's an amazing tool that asks you very detailed questions about where you are right now. Where do you want to go? What type of impact do you want to have? What do people say about you? What would you want people to say about you? What do you want to say about yourself at the end of your life, at the end of it all? And so it helps you to come up with a statement, or if there's so many, a couple of statements, but one main statement that you use to sort of guide where you go in your life. So I pray that this was a blessing for you. As always, please, please, please don't keep this good information to yourself. Make sure that you share it with somebody, because this is good, free nuggets. Make sure that you're sharing it with someone, and make sure that you tune in again to another installment of The Best Investment. I would also love the opportunity to work with you as well. So if you are in need of some direction, or you're in need of some coaching, check out my website, and you can go ahead and sign up for a free 15-minute consultation with me, and we can figure out how we can best help you. Thank you so much again for joining. Look forward to having you again on the next installment of The Best Investment. And always remember, you are the best investment. Take care.